Hi, I'm Christina Wynn, and today on Christina's Kitchen, I'm going to show you all a recipe for chocolate chip cookies, but for diabetics. This is a fast and easy recipe, whether it be for parents that have diabetic children as an after-school snack, or diabetics that have a sweet tooth. For this recipe, we will need 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, a ½ teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of margarine or 8 tablespoons, 1/2 cup of Splenda, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1 large egg, 1/4 a cup of unsweetened applesauce, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and ½ a cup of chocolate chips. So you're probably thinking, what makes this recipe safer for diabetics? First off, we're going to use dark chocolate chips instead of milk chocolate chips because it has fewer carbs and like half the sugar of milk chocolate chips. Also, on the other recipes of chocolate chip cookies, they use about 2 cups of chocolate chips versus only the ½ cup we're using in this recipe. Also, we're going to use a lot less sugar than a lot of the other recipes for chocolate chip cookies. Our recipe only calls for ½ a cup of sugar, or Splenda in our case, and ½ a cup of brown sugar, whereas a lot of other recipes is at least a cup of sugar and a cup of brown sugar. Finally, we're going to use Splenda instead of sugar, and that's going to be a low-calorie artificial sweetener. It's less in carbohydrates as well, which will help reduce any spikes in your blood sugar. Now we're going to begin our recipe, and like I said earlier, it's a really fast and easy recipe to make when your kids are wanting a snack after school or whatever, and you don't have to worry about really raising their blood sugar. Like I said earlier, this isn't just for kids who have diabetes as an after-school snack. It can be for anybody with diabetes or just anyone trying to cut back on their sugar intake to prevent getting diabetes or anything like that as well. The first step is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees, which I've done already, and to spray the baking sheets with cooking spray, which is over there waiting for us. The next step is to whisk together flour, salt, and baking soda. So that's going to be 1½ cups of flour, ½ a teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 a teaspoon of salt. And then we just mix that up. And set that aside for a second. The next step is to mix the margarine, which is going to be 8 tablespoons of margarine, until it is fluffy. After the margarine is nice and fluffy, we're going to add the sugar, the egg, applesauce, milk, and vanilla. So here we're going to have ½ a cup of Splenda. Since this is for diabetics, we're going to use Splenda and only ½ a cup. We're going to use ½ a cup of brown sugar. We're gonna add 1 egg. Instead of oils, we're gonna use unsweetened applesauce. And we're gonna use 1/2 a cup of that. And finally, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then we're gonna beat that for a minute. After a minute, we're gonna stir in the chocolate chips and the flour mixture that we mixed up earlier. We're gonna use dark chocolate chips because those have less sugar because it's diabetic. And we're only gonna use 1/2 a cup of those. And then we're gonna stir in that flour, baking soda, and salt mixture. Finally, we're gonna get the dough and drop it into the pre-sprayed cooking sheets by spoonfuls. After we're done scooping the dough onto the baking sheet, we're going to come over to the oven and put them in at 350 for around 14 to 16 minutes or until they're lightly brown. And now we wait. So it's been about 10 minutes. Let's check on the cookies. They've risen quite a bit, but they're still a little pale, so we're going to leave them in there for a while so they can brown more. The timer just went off. We're going to check on them again. And they look pretty brown now, so I'm going to take them out and turn off the oven. And they look nice and brown now. I'm just going to leave them here to cool now. We're just going to let them cool. And that's it for today's edition of Christina's Kitchen. Thank you.